Have you ever gone to buy something, you've seen a sale and you went to buy it and they don't have it?
Mhm. A lot.
Right. It happens all the time. And generally, when you do it in the retail market, it's out of stock. But what a lot of people don't realize is that in travel, they go to get the sale they saw, it doesn't match. They think it's booked full, there's no opportunity to go, but they're wrong. There's a difference in what the promotion is and what the blackout dates are. And that's what we're going to talk about today, the differences and how to overcome blackout dates.
And it can get confusing for the average people just looking for a sale.
There's a lot of different reasons it happens. And one of the things right now we see in kids are getting ready to go out of school for the summer break. So everybody's wanting to plan summer vacations, right? And a lot of the times you'll see like Royal or some of these, they'll have that kids sale free sale, but then they go to book it and all the times that their kids are out of school, it doesn't show up or the prices seem
Right.
higher. It doesn't typically actually say not available. It'll show them a date for that particular cruise or that particular all inclusive at a hotel, but the price will be higher than what they saw in the sale because the sale wasn't applied. Couple of reasons that happens. Um, First off, they didn't get the discount they wanted because they think that it feels like the deal's gone, but in reality, the deal has dates that it's not available. And hotels, cruise ships, they're not going to give you a discount when they're already going to fill up, when people
Right.
are already going to travel, mainly June, July, August. Those periods of times are going to be full price. There's different ways to get around it. There's also different discounts. We've talked about this before that travel advisors, when I look at any cruise, I put the cruise up this afternoon and it was $1,500 and something for four people. Now on the website, you're definitely not going to see that particular price because you're seeing one sale, one promotion.
Right.
But when I looked at that cruise, I saw four different promotions. Some were a bit older, and they just don't let you select on the consumer site what promotion you're going to use. So that is something people need to be aware of. That's tip one. Go through your advisor if you're looking at specific dates and say, hey, I want to go on this date. What is the best promotion available? Because what you're seeing on the website isn't always that way. And I've seen so many people come on the internet or especially on our travel advisor sites and they're saying, hey, I can't get the same price that this person's getting. What's the problem? How come they're seeing a cheaper price on the website than what I'm seeing? And the reason for that is they didn't change the promotion. They
Right.
didn't look at the promotion and they are only using what this website says this is the best deal. And best deal sometimes is around pricing. What is the cheapest price? But also, what a lot of people don't realize is the same thing when you go to a store to buy something,
Mhm.
because in a store, their sales tax goes on the price. Hotels and all inclusives and also definitely cruises, you've got your port taxes. So that first price you see isn't the end price. And a lot of people don't take that into consideration. A lot of times, some of the promotions we see are all inclusives and the price up front seems more. But if you buy that cheap one and then you add on things like maybe you want internet or maybe you want a drink package, well, sure enough, it goes up. And in the end, it's probably more expensive than that all inclusive promo that looked like it was more expensive
Right.
in the beginning.
Do you see people getting aggravated?
Well, sure. I mean, everybody thinks that, first of all, that why do I need a travel advisor? And we were the same way. And
Mhm.
we've talked about that many times that, hey, I don't need one of these people because I can do all this on the internet myself. And when they see, hey, I found a better price than you, it feels aggravating because or frustrating because they just kind of think they reaffirm their belief. I didn't need you to begin with because I got the best deal. Then when they package it all together, a lot of times they wind up walking away from the sale and not
Right.
wind up taking the trip because they're like, well, what I thought was $300 turned out to be $800 when I added on all the extras, and they never go back to that advisor because they discounted them in the beginning. It's like, well, I did better than you did. In fact, they didn't do it. And when they realize it, they've already discarded that and they forget to go back to them when they could actually find a better price. So we've talked about that also, right? Why do people not travel? Because they get disillusioned with the pricing or they get disillusioned with what it is or what they think it's going to be when they search it on their own and they don't get the realities from the advisor and they just move on to something else and they never make that trip that people talked about or they thought was important to them. So something else that people should do is, now this is kind of important or maybe not as flexible with kids, but tip number two, be flexible. Now I get it, right? June, July, and August feel like the hard dates, right? So you want to take that cruise. You want to take the kids on a cruise. And by the way, the one we posted today was in the summertime. And I think, $1,500 for a family of four with all your food and that included, that's a great deal. And it was in the
Can't
summer
go to
months.
Disney for that.
You can't get your tickets to Disney for that for 5 days, 4 nights, let alone your lodging and your food. But either way, I'm going to tell you that if you say you want to take a cruise with kids, tip number two is great. Take the cruise with the kids. Maybe don't do it over the summer months because when do we typically travel? Shoulder season,
Yeah.
right? We, I don't even know if do we even have a trip planned between June, July, and August right now. I mean, other than little concert trips to New York and Vegas.
The only one we have planned are with the grandkids. And
Right, but
yeah,
that's tomorrow.
but that's it. Yeah.
Right, so we're not even because we already paid for that. That's our place. But we don't usually book June, July, and August because it's the most expensive time to go,
Right.
and also it's when everybody else is there. And honestly, I don't want to be there when everybody else is there. Right, I'm okay with a few people, right, but I don't want the masses. Right, I want just a few people. So shoulder seasons, those April, May, or September through December. But you're like, well, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but it's cheaper then. But I need to go June, July, and August. Okay, take that cruise, book it in those shoulder months, and I almost guarantee you can take two trips for the price of one. So instead of over the summer months taking them on the cruise, take them to a nice Florida vacation. Ask us about it. Get a hotel, take them on a summer trip somewhere, no problem, and then take them on another trip during a break period. And you'll be able to afford two trips for one because you're getting a big discount during those shoulder seasons because look, it's the same reason why do stores put stuff on sale? Well, they have a lot of them or they're moving them out. Maybe it's last year's model and we're good with that, right? We know if we buy the 2025 model, we get basically all the same stuff. It's not 2026, but we get deep discounts. Well, this is no different. Cruise lines and all inclusives, they're not in the business of giving you free stuff necessarily. So they are going to give you deeper discounts when they typically have open cabins, open rooms. Those if they stay open, they lose money. They don't want to do this. They're going to give it to you for much cheaper than June, July, and August, when they know they're going to fill those with very little effort and very little discounts. So tip number two is maximize your money. Choose shoulder seasons for your cruises and your all inclusives in particular, because those are the hottest properties out right now.
Mhm.
Yeah, Disney is forever, but it feels like a bucket list now. People go there one time because
Right.
it's a week is $8,000.
Right.
It's just not cheap for anybody.
There are breaks during the school year.
Absolutely
There
right.
are fall break. There are 4-day weekends. I mean, you may not be able to take that 7-day trip with your kids during those months, but you could do like a 4-day weekend
You can do a Saturday to a Saturday, right? Because a lot of those fall breaks are like weekend to weekend. The week in between is open.
sometimes, but
And I'm told that those schools that go year round actually have even more small
yeah,
breaks broken up throughout the school year. So they might even have more flexibility to hit those shoulder seasons if your children go to a school that is a year round school, where the ones who are on the traditional schedule are very defined. There's the
right.
short break for Thanksgiving, the long break over the Christmas, New Year's holiday, and there's probably others, right?
Well, you have spring break.
Spring break, and that's the other side of it, right? The
Right.
April. And spring break's kind of known, right? It's not really a shoulder season, not for cruise and all inclusives,
No,
because they know everybody's hitting those. And they also know that everybody's time's a little bit different. Some people's are this week and some people are that week. They know that in those, what is that, April, May, March, April,
March, April.
March, April, that all those weeks people are going to be coming. Now there'll be some discounts in because not everybody's off. Like June, July, August, everybody's off for the
Right.
most part. So they know they're going to have cabins to fill. So there'll be some small discounts in those, but they're not the true shoulder seasons when most people are, in school. Those individual breaks that are around professional days and things like those 4 days,
Hmm.
those are very district, somewhat independent, where they're not relying on holidays. So look at those. And these are the times when my recommendation would be get your kid's schedule, send it to your TripAdvisor and say, find me the best deals around this calendar.
Every school has their calendar before the year begins.
Right. So it's not that you need a different trip, you just need a different week.
Yeah.
All right. That's tip number two. So tip number three is don't get caught on the keywords like kids sale free. A lot of times there's also kids sale for less. That's a good one. But then there's this other one that gets thrown out there a lot that people miss. And it's third and fourth when you're talking about cruises, third and fourth passengers free or at a discount. people, I get it, man. They don't think about their kids as a passenger. They think about them as kids. And if they don't see that kid word, they just forget about it.
Yeah.
And they don't always think about it being a passenger. So third and fourth is another good one. So again, this is really about going to your advisor and saying, hey, I've got this many people and I want to travel. So find me, I don't care about the keywords, find me the best deal and then come back and tell me what it is. So I think that's an important one. And it will help you find, even during those June, July ones, you might not get the cheaper rates you'll get in the shoulder season. But if you're dead set on, I got to travel during these months because maybe you took your PTO time around your kids' vacation. And I get that a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And you're letting, maybe they're a little bit older and you're letting them stay at home on those 4 days, that Thursday, Friday, they're off and then you're there the weekends, but you're still working. But you took that week of a PTO in June or July. You're not going to pay full price, but you're not going to get the kids or free pricing either. So be
Mhm.
flexible with your pricing. If you can maximize the shoulder time, you can make it into 2 trips. Bonus tip, pro tip, when you're traveling, I feel this way. When you're traveling with your kids, it's not necessarily the time to think about the romantic balcony. Go ahead and get the ocean view. Now, look, if you can do an interior, you're going to save boatloads of money. But I know the interior wasn't your favorite. I liked
It
it.
was not. It was not.
But would you ever do it again? Or were you like, are you totally dead set against it now?
I mean, I would do it again. It would not be my first choice.
Okay.
I just did not like knowing if it was daytime, if it was nighttime.
So
It was just
Royal
now
has those.
some people love the dark.
Oh, I loved it.
They sleep
Dark and
good,
cold.
dark and cold. Yeah, I know you loved it.
So Royal has the rooms that are interior that have the virtual wall that basically it's a big video screen, but it shows you whether it's dark or light outside. You wouldn't want it on all the time. In fact, they have a drape that you can pull over just like a balcony. Do you think that
I
would
might
make it better?
yeah,
Because you'd be able to see the camera looking at the outside and know what it's looking like?
it might trick my brain.
I have to try that sometime. So anyway, interior, you're always going to do the best. But a lot of people, like you, maybe they don't want it. So
I've even considered those ones that overlook the main area.
So yeah, when you have the new bigger royal ships now that have the central balconies, they look over the central park.
Yeah.
And it looks, got the tree lines. It's looking like New York Central Park, and you look out over it. Now, a lot of people don't like about because they look straight across each other across the park, and you can see to other people's balconies or
What
in
the
other people's
drapes are
rooms.
for.
Isn't that just like every time we watch House Hunters and they're talking about how close the neighbors are, and you're like, close the drapes.
Okay, we're getting off topic.
Same thing, they'll close the drape. No, the sweet point, if you're going to go June, July, and August, you're going to get your advisor to find you the best promo and you still want to maximize your savings. Go with an interior, go with the ocean view,
Right.
right? You get the window light, which is what you want. You can look out and see the ocean, but balconies are a premium.
Yeah.
Now, the one we posted today is sort of a unicorn because it's an ocean view balcony for 1,500 and it's for 4 people. But look, you're not going to find those that often. And that came from me looking at all the promotions on that particular trip and finding that one. So it's all about finding the match that works for the person. You got to look at price, you got to look at wants, and you got to look at when they want to go. Best flexibility is around dates. Don't change what trip you want to do. Change the week you're going to do it on. Best bet number 2 is to be flexible a little bit on your pricing. Where if I want to go, during this period, then I got to move my pricing to a different promo.
Have a budget.
Have a budget, but understand that you might not be able to hit it, or you might have to do away with some things. So instead of getting a drink package, you have to pay per drink. And the third tip is to be flexible on your room type. I get that you want to make it the best trip, right? You want to get everything at once. You want to take the kids. You want to have the balcony. But guess what? It's still a 1 bedroom, so to speak. You're all going to be in the same room.
Right.
Romance is probably going to have to take a back seat a little bit. But cruises aren't not like Disney. It's not a bucket list. You can take another cruise maybe in the shoulder season when you can leave the kids with somebody, or maybe they're at a camp or something and they have their own thing going on. And then you can take that and get that balcony room at a better price. So don't think you got to have it all on the one trip. That's tip number 2 or number 3 rather. So tell us what is it that you are feeling? How do you normally travel in your trips? Are you tied to the date? Or are you more flexible and you can move around it? Are you more about when it's most convenient, not when it's most beneficial? Convenience would be it's around the dates, and that's when we got to go. It's that moment. And around the best perks would be saying, Okay, I'll do shoulder or I'll do a better room. So are you convenience or are you perk driven? Let us know down in the comments and we'll see you next time. Stay wonder worthy.